Alright, so I just want to start off by saying, and I didn't think I'd have to be saying this again, but apparently it needs to be said, it needs to be spread, the word that if somebody has not seen a game yet, don't say anything at all. It's happened to me again today. It happened once before whenever we played Dynamo Kiev the second time. One of the guys that I work with, ignore my dogs. They're going to be walking around back there. One of the guys I work with said, "Oh yeah, Chelsea lost today, 2-1." And then I went home and watched it, and they won 2-1. And so it was kind of like he was trying to make a joke about it, and it just ended up pissing me off. Today, as I'm leaving, I'm a keeper coach for high school, and as I'm leaving, one of the guys on the team, I'm talking about, I'm going to go home and I'm going to watch the Chelsea game. I don't know anything about it. One of the guys is like, "Oh yeah, PSG won." I'm just like, "Dude, seriously?" He's like, "I'm just kidding. I don't know actually. I don't actually know the score." And then somebody standing right next to us is just like, "Oh yeah, PSG won. PSG played, didn't they? They already played." I'm just like, "Yeah, but I don't want to know anything." He's pulling it up on his phone. She's like, "Yeah, PSG won 2-1." I'm like, so now he is running goalposts tomorrow. So anyway, little side note. We need to start spreading the word that if people have not seen a game yet, don't spoil anything, because some people tape it and go home and watch it later, and not enough people respect that. So anyway, on to the game. If you've watched my reviews before, you probably expect me to jump and scream and shout and get all pissed off, but honestly, it was what I expected. The same exact lineup as last time we played PSG, except Kennedy on for Baba Rahman, which I'm going to get to that in a second. And same result. PSG 2, Chelsea 1. Not surprised. In fact, I'm actually okay with the game in general because they played well at times. I think there are two parts I think that really hurt us. That cost us the game pretty much. One was Costa going off injured. I think Traore's doing great. He's playing well, but there's a big difference in playing up against some of these Premier League sides who don't exactly have great defenses, and going up against David Luiz and Thiago Silva, who are both big and will knock you around. Costa can take it, and he can use that to his advantage. Traore really hasn't faced something like that before. So once Costa came off, we really lost that fire up top. And so I think that's kind of what changed the game for us attacking-wise. I think we really had a chance to put in some goals. But what hurt us defensively is Hiddink's lineup. And it's funny because I love seeing Kennedy in, but I think Baba is better for the Champions League games. I don't think Baba is needed in the Premier League because he's not strong enough, whereas Kennedy is. But in a game against PSG, they don't have a lot of strength. They have a lot of speed. So you want somebody in there who's fast, but also knows the positioning, because the first goal, Kennedy got caught out because he doesn't really know the left back position all too well. So I'm not normally one to say, yeah, Baba over Kennedy, but I think in this game it was needed. And I honestly, it probably doesn't matter too much who you put in there. Either way, you're going to be lacking something. So overall, not too worried about that. But if you see my reviews, if you've heard me talk about Chelsea before, you know exactly what I'm going to say the biggest problem was. Let's just say it together on 3. 1, 2, 3. Mikel! Yay! Woo! We all know the answer because we're all smart, not like Hiddink, who's stupid. Mikel over Matic. Don't get it. First leg, Matic was suspended, so you can't use him. Okay. This leg, he's available. He's on the bench. He's still on the bench. Second half, he's still on the bench. 90-something minute, he's still on the bench. Why? I know I said I wasn't going to get mad, but it really does kind of frustrate me that he didn't even put him on the field at all. Like, why? Who knows? Doesn't make any sense, but yeah, okay. We'll take the loss. We'll get knocked out of the Champions League. Good work, Hiddink. That's what I want to see a manager do. I want to see him trust in players who are not as good as other players and lose games. Yeah, you moron. Like I said, same exact lineup as the first leg. And Mikel, yeah, he scored the goal. He caused the other two, pretty much. First one was directly his fault. Second one was him and Fabregas. They don't pressure the ball. They stand off of it, which gives a team like PSG, who has several creative players, time to find the perfect pass, which they did. Well, actually, the first one they did that in this game. Second one was just all Mikel. Not being, he's slow, he's fat, he's not, he doesn't go into a challenge, so the ball is rolling in between him and another player. The PSG player beats him to it, and then ball in behind, ball across. Ibrahimovic is there to finish. All starts from Mikel. And I know it sounds like I'm really singling him out, and yeah, he wasn't the only problem in this game, but he's a very big problem. He is the center of the field. He is the center mid position where you need players to challenge, you need players to distribute. He doesn't do any of that, and Matic does. A lot of people are talking about, oh, Matic is having a horrible year. He was having a horrible year. Did you see him play in the past few games? He has been a dominant force on defense. We have not had a good defense because, guess what? We're missing our two best center backs. So let's have a center defensive mid who can make up for that. Matic does. He gets back in there. He helps out the defense. He gets up too. He has good passing. He's tall, so that way, you've got somebody to challenge Ibrahimovic in the air. But he's just on the bench. Do you see my frustration? Do you understand why I'm not happy that Mikel is starting over Matic? Because if not, if you're one of those people that's been arguing with me recently about, oh, Mikel is so much better than Matic, obviously you're not watching games. You see Mikel out there, you probably just see him make a good challenge, and then you're just like, see, Mikel is great. And then you don't watch the rest of the game where he's walking around. After he puts in that first challenge, I finally figured out his biggest issue. Because, or at least I figured out why people think he's so good. That first challenge he goes into, he goes in hard, he goes in fast, and he does well. If he misses that challenge, though, that's where people don't look at all. Because if he misses that challenge, he's done. He is beat, he's jogging slowly back, he's not getting back behind the ball, he's beat. And that's frustrating for me to watch. Especially as somebody who is, as a player, I love to defend. I am somebody who thinks defending is a big part of the game. I think it's the most important part of the game. Because, yeah, you can go score as much as you want, but if you're leaking goals in the back, you're not going to win games. Mourinho understood that great. I know I'm talking good about Mourinho, even though he had a terrible year. But that was mainly just him being stubborn, making poor decisions as a manager. But that's why we won the league last year, because he knew what was the most important thing. Defense. Our defense was solid. It was solid all year long. I'm pretty sure I don't think we had the best goal difference, but I'm pretty sure that we had the lowest amount of goals against us. I just think it was the goals for that we didn't have as many as some of the other teams. But I'm pretty sure we had the least amount of goals against us last year, because Mourinho understood defense is key. As a person who agrees with that theory, watching Mikel as he jogs back, or as he walks back, as PSG has got the ball out wide, and then there are people in the box that are, our defenders are marking, there's somebody waiting out here, and he's just standing in space. I'm like, you're nothing right now. You are literally nothing. If the ball comes in, you're on your heels. The person that's making the run in is going to beat you because you're not ready for it. It's ridiculous to watch him. If you actually watch him for the whole game, trust me, if you think he's a good player now, next game, if he starts, which he probably will because Hiddink loves him for some reason, watch him the whole game. Just watch him. You can, obviously sometimes he's not on screen, but just watch his play. Watch how much he walks and stands. Watch how much he just jogs slowly back. Watch how many times he gives up after the first challenge. Watch how many times he's standing in space instead of marking somebody. Watch how many times somebody has the ball and is just looking for a pass as Mikel stands 5 yards off of him. Watch how many times he does that. And I guarantee your opinion of Mikel will drop enormously because he hurts us. It's not like he is just out there and he's a non-player, so he doesn't help us. No, he hurts us. It's worse than just not helping us. It's ridiculous. He is, because the thing is, and this is why I think Mikel and Matic together doesn't work. Because he's there in that position, even though he's not doing anything, the people around him think, okay, I don't need to get into his space, and so they go mark a different space. So whenever Mikel and Matic are playing, normally if it's Matic and Fabregas, Matic has got the defense covered while Fabregas is more attacking. When it's Mikel and Matic, Matic for some reason puts trust in Mikel to do his part of it, which he does not. And so Matic is over here doing something else, trying to cover his side of it, while Mikel is not covering his side of it. And so now we're getting hurt because there's a player that is taking up space that should be doing their job, and the players around him think should be doing his job, and they're having to do their own job, so now we're practically not having anybody there. It's almost like it's not like there's nobody there. It's like there's a, what's it called, force field. There's like a force field where he is, so none of the Chelsea players go in there. And so now, PSG players are just, let's just take this space because he's not going to do anything about it. So it's really frustrating to watch. And now I'm ranting, and I'm done. So, moving on from the Mikel decision, the rest of the lineup I thought was good. Like I said, I was generally pleased with what I saw, and I do think that if Matic was in over Mikel, I think we wouldn't have let up as many goals. I think we would have scored one or two more, because he helps defensively, and on top of that, he has a bit of attacking force going forward as well. So, plus, Matic wins the ball back a lot in the midfield, whereas Mikel, not nearly as much. So we have the ball a lot more when Matic is on the field, and that helps us attacking-wise too. Because we had several chances going forward. I mean, it wasn't, when I heard the score was 2-1, I'm thinking, did they just dominate the game on us? What happened? I'm watching, and I'm generally pleased with what I'm seeing, even though I know it's not going to end well. I'm just like, this looks like it could be our game. We are dominating possession right now. We're getting the best chances. And then, PSG occasionally has a breakaway that most of the time gets smothered by Courtois or the defense. If we had somebody else in the midfield, if we had that extra bit of flair that Matic would bring over Mikel, we could have gone on to win it. And that's my biggest problem, is that, once again, for some reason, Hiddink doesn't see that. And I'm one of the people who say do not keep Hiddink because of a game like this where we should have had it. We should have won this game. Throughout the entire game, I'm just sitting here thinking we could win this. We could go on and win this, but we're lacking in the midfield. And even if we do go get another goal, there's no guarantee that we're going to be able to hold on to the lead because we are lacking defensively in the midfield. So, why he doesn't see that and why he continues to choose Mikel over Matic just astounds me. And if you really look back at our past few games, against Stoke, it was Matic and Mikel, which was stupid. First of all, having two defensive players is stupid enough. But they're in there. We go up a goal. Okay. We're doing okay. He takes off Matic, brings on Fabregas, and Stoke scores and ties it up about 5 minutes later. Against Norwich, it was Matic and Fabregas. We were dominating the game. Dominating the first half, dominating most of the second half, and then he brings on Mikel. And 8 minutes later, Norwich have now scored one, brought one back, and now And now all the attack that Norwich had, which wasn't really looking like they were more half chances. Like they didn't really look like they were going to score. They were just getting possession and kind of driving at the goal, but nothing really dangerous. Once Mikel came in, it was dangerous. They scored one, and it looked like they could have scored another. I don't see how nobody can see that. Like, am I the only one that sees Mikel comes on, we get scored on 8 minutes later. Matic comes off, we get scored on 5 minutes later. Against Southampton, we got very, very lucky. I don't really. There have been a couple games that we've won where it was Mikel and Fabregas. The only one where it wasn't luck when that happened was against Crystal Palace, because that's the one game that I think Mikel actually did play well. 1 second. I don't know. They want to leave the room. So that is the one game that he played well, and that's the one game that we looked confident. We looked like we had the victory easily. The rest of the games that he's played in didn't look good at all, and the only ones that we've won where he's played felt like luck. And the rest of them were ties, draws. We lost against PSG twice because Mikel's in. And I don't know. Okay, no more about Mikel. Moving on to the other players. Going through the back line, Kennedy played okay. He did get caught out on that one, but Cahill is also to blame because he didn't track Ibra when he made the run across, and then at the end, Aspilicueta let Rabio, whatever his name is, he let him get in behind him too easily. So it was like I said, we're missing our best two central defenders. It shows. Even though we don't have a terrible defense, we have a lack of leadership back there, so it falls apart way too easily. So overall, they played okay considering the fact that we don't have Terry or Zuma. But like I said earlier, I would have preferred to see Baba in over Kennedy. Even though Kennedy does bring a bit more attacking-wise, I think Baba would have provided a bit more defensively than Kennedy does as far as Champions League go. I say leave Kennedy in when you're facing Premier League teams, but in the Champions League, Baba is one of those players that just does well in the Champions League. Skipping over Mikel, Fabregas had an average game today. Didn't really do anything special, but he was there. He made a few good passes. He made like a couple good interceptions, but other than that, he was just kind of not really affecting the game. Hazard had a few moments, still not back to his what he was last year, but he did have a few moments where he was really threatening. Really thought he should have scored in the second half. After Willian had a shot that was parried right to Hazard, and Hazard just kind of kicked it right at the keeper instead of finding his corner. So he just still lacks something. Still not sure what it's going to take to bring it back, but certainly not selling him, which is most of the stuff that I read on Facebook, which is probably most of the stuff that I read is just stupid stuff. Like I keep reading all these things about, oh yeah, Chelsea are going to sell Hazard and Oscar and Matic and Courtois and Costa. I'm just like, okay. And then they keep talking about, oh, Mourinho's taking over at Man U. I'm like, no, he's not. Like it's been kind of confirmed that they don't want him. Let's see. Willian played fairly well. Still making too many mistakes on the ball though. Like he did against Stoke last weekend. He just, I don't know. His game has really declined since Hiddink took over, which is weird because most of the players have gotten better. Willian's the one player that was under Mourinho was just thriving. He was our best player throughout most of the first half of the season, and then once Mourinho left, he just dropped off. His free kicks, he was scoring almost every single one. Like if it wasn't scoring, it was off the crossbar and out, or the keeper had to make a great save to stop it. Ever since Hiddink took over, his free kicks have been awful. His corners have been awful too, but his play has really dropped off. He's not that he's been playing bad, but he just hasn't been playing as well. Pedro, another player like Baba that plays well in the Champions League, and he did again today. Just really good workhorse. Just flies around, puts in good challenges, put in a challenge to get Costa's goal. So overall, I'm happy with him. Costa obviously played well, like I said. Once he came off, it just changed the game. Um, and it's nice to see him not really get into a lot of like whenever David Luiz pulled his jersey, almost pulled it off, and the referee didn't give him a foul. He was angry, but he wasn't about to go fight the ref or David Luiz. He really has calmed down. He's not that he doesn't get upset and frustrated, but he's not the Costa that's about to go fight somebody. It's nice to see. And as far as subs, Traore came on. Like I said, it's difficult for him to come into a side or come against a side where the two center backs are big and will knock you around. He really hasn't faced that before. And then Oscar came on for Hazard, who looks like he's struggling with. You could see there was one time he just pulled up, and I'm just like, crap. Hopefully it's just a strain, nothing too bad. But Oscar came on, didn't really do much. But I'm going to be honest, I kind of forwarded most of it after Ibrahimovic's goal. Just because, like I said, I knew the result, so I was just frustrated and didn't really want to watch the rest of it. But I did stop it at a couple points, and from what I could see, it looked like PSG was just really taking the game to us because, we didn't really have in our midfield we didn't really have anything, and then up top we didn't really have anything. So, like I said, I'm not really upset with the result because I kind of expected it. I'm mainly just upset with the fact that even after all this time, even after all the mistakes, even after all the games where we've dropped points, or we almost dropped points, and Mikel's been involved in it, it's really frustrating to see that nobody at Chelsea can look at these tapes and say, okay, that's not good enough. Like, how can nobody be stepping up to Mikel and be like, hey, Mikel, it would be nice if you could put pressure on the ball right here so they didn't have about 10 minutes to make a decision. So that's my main frustration is just, if you're not, if you are completely 100% going to play Mikel no matter what, get him to play better. Get him to pressure more, get him to challenge more. But if he's just going to stand around, not put pressure on, and then give up after his first challenge if he doesn't make the tackle, why are you playing him? Matic, Ruben Loftus-Cheek could go out there and do that. Anybody that you put out there could go and do that. So it's just frustrating to see that he continues to not put forth the effort that we need him to, and he continues to get picked game after game. I don't get it, and it's frustrating. That's my main frustration. So anyway, that's all for me. Let me know down in the comments below. If you're one of the Mikel lovers, go ahead and call me an idiot. I don't care anymore. Because mainly I know I'm right. Let me know what you think of the game. What do you want to see change for the FA Cup? I'm pretty sure it's this weekend against Everton. Let me know what you want to see change in the side. What do you think about our next manager? I heard that Conte has been confirmed, but I've also heard reports that we're going to interview Pochettino too. There's still talk about Simeone possibly. So let me know what you think about that, and leave a like and subscribe for more Chelsea. I'll see you at the next game. Peace out.